He is the head coach of the defending tournament champion Saint Anselm Hawks. Keith Dickson joins us in our basketball previews. First off, Coach, the season is just about upon us. As a basketball coach, how does this time of year feel?
Yeah, it's great. It's that time of year. It's everything ramps up. So you're on the court and trying to figure out if you're going to be any good or not. We're just like everybody else.
What have you figured out at this point?
Not much. Uh, I just said to somebody asked me the other day how you're going to be, and it's like I think every year at this time it's the same. I'm always petrified we're not going to be able to put a team together that can compete at the top, and it's no different this year. It's early. A lot of things have nothing's happened yet, so we'll see. I hope we can pull something together here.
You guys lose Miles Tension and Owen McGlashan from a year ago. What's appeared to you in terms of how you can fill those shoes, or maybe who can fill those shoes early on?
Well, number one, big losses. I mean, we've lost a lot of good players in the last 5 or 6 years. And Miles, to me, was just so reliable, dependable, trustworthy. Like I knew what I was going to get out of Miles. Not just every game, but every day, every practice. So, you take that reliability out where it's like he really understood what we were doing. So your leader is sort of walking out the door along with an all-conference player. So, and your point guard, which was a big deal for us. And then Owen, to his credit, he hadn't done much his first couple of years here, and he had a terrific year last year. We wouldn't have got done what we did without him. So he'll be difficult to replace. But like you said, that's college basketball. We lost Tim Gears. We had to move on. We lost Chris Paul. We had to move on. We lose Miles. We got to move on. After we lose Arbuckle, we'll move on. It's just the way it is. So, yeah. Number two, I guess I'll answer that piece is, in the new climate of college basketball recruiting with the portal and fifth-year eligibilities, like everything has changed. So I'd say our recruiting has changed too. Like we've sort of had to adapt, and I've taken more junior college, and for 35 years hadn't taken a junior college kid once. And we're not heavily reliant on transfers. I'm an old school 4-year build kind of guy, but now it looks like I'm a new school 2-year build kind of guy. So, I mean, we'll see. We've sort of filled in with Josh Morissette, who's a Division I transfer from Wofford, who we think is going to be terrific. And we took Sean McCarthy, a Division II forward from Felician, who will hopefully step in and sort of take the spots of those two, although, Miles was our point guard, so we're going to have to shift Matt Becker probably over to that spot. So we've got some lineup manipulation too. So, and then, our backups are our backups. I'd say this has been my biggest worry for the last 10 years is that we're not building a deep enough group. So that, like, even last year, we won the conference tournament. We were lucky that all three were at home. We're very good at home. But we were really a 5 or 6 man group. And then we get in the regional again at home. And 3 of the 5 that I'm playing play horribly, and I don't have anywhere to go. So, like, when you don't build depth, that means you can't deal with foul trouble, injury, bad play. And we were built like that again last year. So we just escaped with another championship, but it's like you're ready to fall off a cliff every day. So I don't know. I hope we can build some depth this year and give me more options when I run into those kind of situations.
Let's talk about a couple of the guys that maybe build some depth for you. And those are the transfers that you mentioned. First off, with a guy like Josh Morissette, someone that was on your radar coming out of high school,
Yeah,
being a local kid?
Too good, though. Like I've known that family since Josh was little. So I know the dad. Josh was in our gym, him and Cody. And, you looked at him because, he's good. And then he went to Exeter and played with the Magic. And, like most kids, it blew up out of he wasn't going to be interested. He was going to get Division I scholarships. And on the men's side, they're gone. There's nothing you can do about it. So we were lucky to get him on the backside. And yeah, we think he's going to be. We took our team to Greece in May, and him and Sean got their finals completed, grades in, everything completed. So we took him, and Josh played really good on the trip. He's going to be good.
How was Greece for you guys?
Greece was great. I've taken my team now, Ireland, Italy, Australia, Italy, Spain, Greece. And once I went in, what was that? 97? Yeah. Then I was like, man, I have to do this every 4 years. And we've pretty much done it. So that's 6 trips in 25 years or 28 years or something. But it's a great bonding experience. It's really ultimately a great cultural experience for the kids that we can provide them, through our fundraising. It's sort of how it gets done. But when my career has ended and I look back at it, those trips are going to be a big part of what has helped make this program. So it was great, and it got Josh and Sean acclimated in the group, which is sort of a head start on the year.
Best thing you saw in Greece was what?
I don't know. We went to Mykonos, so I mean, you see everything, right? So we saw the Acropolis, which is probably what you need to see when you're there. So it's like, we saw a lot of great things, but the people are great. It's a beautiful country. We saw a lot of the coastal area. We were in Nafplio, which is a beautiful spot, and the food was great. So you go sometimes, like, I don't know. We went to Spain, Barcelona. The city's too big, but Athens is too big too, I guess. So we spent 3 or 4 days there, but it's good for some of my kids had never been overseas, so that's a good experience for them.
That's awesome. It's awesome experience for you guys, and certainly helps build toward this year. I want to ask you about the one known that you guys have first and foremost coming in, and that is Tyler Arbuckle. First off, was there ever any doubt that he would come back? I know he had the year, but he was also a senior. What was the process for him coming back to play this year like?
It's like all those 5th-year guys, right? Like, we kept Chris, Goose, and Zoe. That was early, that was the first year, and then nobody knew what was going to happen. Then we kept Miles. He wanted to come back, and we don't have grad school, so basically they're just getting a second degree. It's sort of, they're just really coming back for basketball. And then Ty, and I don't know how to put this, but it's like, my relationship with Tyler is terrific, and I think it would be hard for him to leave here and go anywhere, even if it was Division I. And I think ultimately you'd have to speak to him more, I guess. But I mean, he wasn't going to leave us, and I was never going to leave him as long as he were here. We're like tied at the hip. So I think when you develop, I think those are the questions that are going to continue to be asked, because I don't think there's going to be too many kids that are going to do that.
Tell me about his development a little bit, particularly last year.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. I'd say the year before, it's hard to judge him because he tore his ACL. He had ACL, MCL, meniscus surgery, and was back on the court in 8.5 months. And then he hurt it again right before Christmas. So basically didn't practice after Christmas. We just tried to put him into the games, and he struggled. So those numbers aren't real, Ty. So his development was sort of curtailed. But he made some comments in practice yesterday that were, if you knew Ty when he came in, Ty was a very ball-centric. He played at Taft, and he was one of those guys that dribbled it 11 times before he shot a step back 3. And there's some games he had 40. But if you've ever watched us play, that's like the exact opposite of the way we play. So when we were looking to take him, I was like, sat him in the office, I was, man, like, I think you got a chance to be good, but not playing like the way you play. Like, we're going to have to work on this. So he was like, I want to be good. I want to win, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I'll let you be you until you is hurting us, blah, blah, blah. And then in the end, he was saying something to the group that was like exactly what I would say. Like, he was me. 5 years later, he's telling them all the things I've told. It was like, I laughed. I said, if anyone ever saw this coming, they'd say we're crazy. So his development has been more than Tyler is basketball obsessed. He's workout crazy. He's all about hoop. So that piece, but he's also like a good teammate. He wants to win. He's overly competitive, but he can be controlled. Like, I'd rather have those kind of guys. He's a little bit nuts, but what are you going to do? But he's learned how to play. So now his decision making is better. He understands time and space. He's making other people better. All the things that go into making, maybe his numbers aren't going to be better, but he's become such a better overall basketball player, which has made us a better basketball team. And you're right. Like I said to when the year ended, so, like you're a stat, you looked at the stats and you're like, man, who can do that? I don't have the stats in front of me, but he's, 48 or something from the field. He's 44 or 5 from 3, 18 something a game. And, the only poor thing in his whole thing is assist to turnover and free throw percentage, right? But his field goal percentage and 3-point percentage are about as efficient as you can get. I'm not sure he can do that again, but maybe he can. And his free throw attempts will stay up because he's so strong, but we need him to shoot a better percentage. He for whatever reason, he was horrible from the top better in the second half, but really bad in the first half. So I think we're going to see a player that will contend for player of the year in our league. He's great.
Keith, appreciate the time. Best of luck as we embark on the season and looking forward to seeing how things progress for you.
All right, Joel. Thanks a lot.